Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. How are you? I hope that all of you are well by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am fine too. Welcome you all to NIVS Home School. This is Mahmudur Rahman, Assistant Teacher of English, National Ideal English Version School. Today I am going to take an English second paper class for the students of class 6. Today's topic is right form of verbs, and this is the second class on this topic. Okay, so let's see the board at first. This is the class for the students of class 6, subject English second paper, topic right form of verbs, and this is the second class on this topic, term half yearly. This is your lecture number 3 and your homework number also 3. I repeat again, this is your lecture number 3 and your homework number also 3. This is your teacher Mahmudur Rahman and this is my phone number. In the last class of right form of verbs, so we have discussed on some rules. Today we will discuss from rule number 13. This rule is divided into two parts. Number 1, past perfect plus before plus past indefinite, and the second one, past indefinite plus after plus past perfect. That means if you find past perfect in the first portion of a complex sentence, then we will put past indefinite in the second part, and if you find past indefinite in the first part and then after, you will write past perfect in the second part. For example, the example number 1, the patient died before the doctor came. Here you have to look in this conjunction before. If you find before, then the past perfect will be in the first portion, and when you write down past perfect in the first portion, ultimately the second portion, that means the second clause, will be in past indefinite tense. So the patient, we will write the first part in past perfect tense, that means had died before the doctor came. Look here, the portion here before, that means the clause, second clause is written in past indefinite tense. There is another example. Here we have written it using the conjunction after. The clause, the second clause, that means after the conjunction after, the second clause will be in past perfect tense, because according to the second rule of rule number 13, past indefinite plus after plus past perfect. So the answer will be the patient died after the doctor had came. The doctor had come. We know the structure of past perfect: subject plus had plus the past participle form of the main verb. So the past participle of main verb will be come, came and come. Rule number 14, if there are two verbs in a simple sentence, present participle, that means verb plus ing, or infinitive form of the second verb is used. So there are 2 points here. If there are two verbs in a simple sentence, present participle of verb or infinitive form of verb is used. Where we will use the ing form or present participle? If this is if the sentence is simply said, and if the sentence implies an intention, then we will use to. So look at the first example: I saw him dash go. So we will write here I saw him going, that means verb plus ing. In the second example, I don't want dash leave this place. Here I don't want, this phrase or this clause implies intention, so we will use infinitive. I don't want to leave. We know that after infinitive we will always use the base form of the verb. Rule number 15, the had better, had rather, would better, would rather, let, must, need, dare are followed by the present form of the verb. All these words and phrases are modal verbs. These are called modal verbs, and after modal verbs we use always the base form of the verb. You had better dash to go home. The answer will be the word words in the bracket will be in the present form. That means you had better go home. Second example, I will not let you dash to enter the classroom. The answer will be I will not let you enter the classroom. Rule number 16, if the sentence begins with would that, the subject is followed by a verb with could. Look here, the word could. So if we take an example, it will be clear. Would that I dash go to college. So the verb in the bracket will take a could before it. Would that I could go to college. Rule number 17, to be and having is followed by the past participle form of the verb. That means after to be and having, we will use the past participle form of the verb in the bracket. He ran away having dash take the money. The verb in the bracket will be in past participle form. So the answer will be he ran away having taken the money. The second example, the principal desired the notice to be hanged. The verb in the bracket will be in past participle as per the rules. The principal desired the notice to be hung. Rule number 18, ing is added with the verb in the bracket if it is preceded by any preposition or mind, ought, without, past, cannot help, could not help, with a view to, look forward to, would you mind, get used to, etc. That means if you find any preposition and all these words or phrases, you will use ing form of the verb in the bracket. For example, I went to the library with a view to, look here, with a view to dash read there. So according to the rule, we will use the ing form of the verb in the bracket. I went to the library with a view to reading there. Example number 2, he never thought of go to cinema. So it will be he never thought of going to cinema. Rule number 19, the past form of verb in the bracket is used when it is followed by it is time, it is high time, wish, fancy. If you find in any sentence it is time, it is high time, wish or fancy, you will use the past form of the verb in the bracket. So I fancy, I turned pale. The answer is I fancy, I turned pale. We know the past form of turn is turned. It is high time he dash change his bad habits. So the answer is it is high time he changed his bad habits. Question number 20. Sorry, rule number 20. If there is as though, as if, wish in a sentence, the verb to be in the bracket is changed into where. This is an exceptional rule. I wish I to be a king. So according to the rule, it will be I wish I were a king. But you know that where is never used with the subject I. In present form, we take am after I, and in the past form we write I was. But this is exceptional because this is imaginary sentences. For this reason, we use where. He talks as if he to be a leader. So we will write down here, he talks as if he were a leader. The next rule, rule number 21, this is also for as if, as though. If the first part of a complex sentence having as though, as if in the simple present tense, the second part will be in the past indefinite. Again, if the first part is in past indefinite, the second part will be past perfect. Structure 1, structure 2. Present indefinite plus as though, as if plus past indefinite. That means if you find present indefinite in the first part of a sentence using as though, as if, you will write past indefinite in the second part. And if you find past indefinite in the first part, that means in first clause, using as though, as if, you write down past perfect in the second part. So if we take example, it will be clear. He speaks as though he know everything. So here he speaks is in present indefinite tense. So the bracket so the verb in the bracket will be in past indefinite. He speaks as though he knew everything. Now she proceeds as though I dash not speak. She proceeded. This is past indefinite. That means the verb is in past form. So we'll write down the verb in the bracket in past perfect. She proceeded as though I had not spoken. Rule number 22, singular verb is used after the subject each, every, one of. That means after these words we will take singular verb. One of the boys dash be absent yesterday. Don't be confused with the word boys. It looks plural, but if we find one of, then we will take singular verb. So one of the boys, here we will write be verb, and here yesterday is a past indicator word, so we will write down was. One of the boys was present yesterday. Everybody loves flowers. Here it will be everybody loves flowers. The next one, the present form of the verb in the bracket is used if it is followed by auxiliary verbs can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, etc. And all these words are called modal auxiliary verbs, and after modal auxiliary verbs we always use the present form of the verb. So you may dash come tomorrow. It will be you may come tomorrow. The next one, I can dash do the work. I can do the work. Then rule number 24, in the case of passive voice, the past participle form of the verb is used if it is followed by verb to be. For example, am, is, are, was, were, been. That means in case of passive voice we always write down the past participle form of the main verb, and before the main verb there is always an auxiliary verb. The book was dash still. Look here, was is the auxiliary verb and there is another verb in the bracket. So write down the past participle form of the verb in the bracket. The book was stolen. We know that the past participle form of still is stolen. So my dear students, there are some homeworks for today's class. There are 10 examples here, 10 sentences here, and there are gaps. You will do this as your homework. Your homework number is W number 3. I am reading out the sentences for you. Number 1, we started for home after the rain dash stopped. Number 2, he talks as if he dash owned the house. Number 3, the sailor saw the ship dash come near the port. Number 4, you would rather dash to stay home. Number 5, the problem needs to be dash solved quickly. Number 6, I wish I catch the bird. Number 7, he talks as if he to be a leader. Number 8, having finished my breakfast, I went to school. Number 9, it is time you just clean the room. And number 10, I read book with a view to pass the exam. So these are your homeworks for today's class. So my dear students, I hope that all of you have understood today's class very well. For your better understanding, practice more and more. See the YouTube classes regularly and attend the online classes. Submit your homeworks. See you in the next class. Allah Hafiz.